Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hey there.
So today we're really drilling down into Summer GameFest 2025, specifically that incredibly packed segment that kicked off around the 34-minute mark.
Oh yeah, that was just bang, bang, bang. Reveal after reveal. Almost hard to keep up.
It really was. So we've got a summary of basically everything announced right in that stretch, our mission. Let's try and unpack it, pull out the most interesting bits, and just get a sense of the sheer range of games shown off, from the huge sequels down to some really quirky indie projects.
And maybe see what that little snapshot tells us about, well, the state of games right now.
Exactly. It's a fascinating slice because you see the giants right next to these studios trying really new things.
Okay, so where do we start? It almost has to be Kojima, right?
Yeah, you can't really talk about that segment without mentioning Hideo Kojima showing up in person. His first time ever at Summer GameFest.
That felt significant, didn't it? Like a moment for the show itself. And yeah, he was there for Death Stranding too.
Which, get this, according to the sources, was slated to release just a few weeks after the show aired. Imagine the buzz for fans.
Oh, absolutely electric. Kojima talked a bit about the theme for DS2, how it builds on the first one, exploring new connections after the pandemic.
Feels very relevant, actually, an evolution of that whole world.
Definitely. And they showed an exclusive clip introducing two new characters.
Well, the Odyssey, yeah.
That's them. Kojima called them very important characters and pointed to a deep connection symbolized by a cancer mark on both their hands.
Interesting. Knowing Kojima, that detail is probably packed with meaning. They also revealed who's playing Neil.
Luca Marinetti. And Kojima apparently said he sees Neil's role as similar to Cliff from DS1 Matt's character. He even said he hopes Neil might top that character in popularity.
Wow, okay, that's setting the bar high. Big shoes to fill.
No kidding. And if you wanted more DS2 info, you didn't have to wait long.
Right, they mentioned a live gameplay demo was happening just a couple of days later.
Yeah, a full DS2 live premiere, also with Jeff Keely featuring Elle Fanning and Troy Baker. So that appearance was just the appetizer.
And speaking of hosts, the source mentioned Lucy James, veteran journalist, co-host of Friends Per Second. She was actually co-hosting the main Summer Game Fest show with Keely.
Ah, right. Busy week for her then. Okay, so moving on from the big Kojima moment, that segment just kept firing. Lots of different genres, established names.
Totally. We got confirmation on Atomic Heart 2 from Mundfish.
Yep, active development, Unreal Engine 5. They're talking spiritual successor, bigger scale, global, more RPG bits, more freedom for the player. Seems like a big step up.
But they also announced something else, didn't they? In the same universe.
Oh, yeah, The Cube. Now that sounded different.
Tell me about it.
It's an MMORPG shooter,
Okay.
but set on this massive levitating cube. And the key thing, the edges are constantly rotating. Imagine how that changes the battlefield.
Whoa, okay. That's definitely a unique map concept.
Yeah.
All right, shifting from retro future vibes to survival horror, Techland.
Dying Light. The Beast. They're calling it the culmination of their decade making survival horror games.
And the big news for fans, Kyle Crane is back as the player character.
Exactly. Open world action survival horror. And it's got a date, August 22nd, right around Gamescom.
Okay, and sticking with gritty, established genres, Mafia.
Mafia, the old country from Hangar 13. This one's going way back 1900s Sicily. A gritty mob story in that specific underworld setting.
Sounds like they're really leaning into that historical atmosphere. And that's coming soon, too. August.
August release, yeah. Seems like a busy month.
And Capcom showed Onimusha again?
Onimusha, Way of the Sword, yeah. We knew about it, but they reconfirmed it for 2026. But the cool bit, playable at Gamescom this summer.
Getting hands on that early is pretty neat. And for fans of Liza P, some good news.
This was great. The Lies of P Overture DLC, the big reveal was?
Yeah.
It's available today. Right now, across all platforms, new content taking players back in time.
Nice. Love an instant drop. And NGFT free, they're expanding Blade and Soul.
Yeah, Blade and Soul Neo apparently just hit Steam. And Blade and Soul Heroes is coming soon, so more options in that universe.
Okay, so that covers a lot of the known quantities, maybe.
Right.
But this segment was also packed with brand new stuff, right? Some really out there concepts.
Absolutely. This is where the variety really exploded. Like that new project from Raw Power Games in Copenhagen.
What was that one?
Set in a brutal European medieval world, intense combat, fighting for land, legacy, leading huge armies. Standard stuff, maybe, but the trailer. Narrated by Tom Hardy.
Wait, Tom Hardy. Okay, that definitely makes you pay attention. Smart move.
Gets your ears pricked up, doesn't it? Then Bandai Namco Studios announced End of Abyss.
Action RPG, dark fantasy.
Yep. Atmospheric action-adventure, uncovering a story that apparently eclipses time. What's interesting is it's the debut from Section 9 Interactive in Malmö, Sweden, coming in 2026 to Epic Game Store and consoles.
Always good to see big publishers back in new teams. All right, complete visual shift now. Mouse PI for hire.
Oh man, this one looked cool. First time DevFumi games, published by Playside. It's all black and white, that classic rubber hose animation style. You play Detective Peppers.
It's kind of like old cartoons.
Exactly. And Troy Baker's voicing someone in it too. That's out later this year. A strong visual identity like that can really help a new game stand out.
Yeah, definitely. And Playside also announced something huge, leveraging a massive IP.
Game of Thrones. War for Westeros. And they were specific. A premium, real-time strategy game built for PC. The trailer apparently said, this is not the game you know.
Suggesting a different angle.
Yeah, maybe more focus on player choice, who lives, who dies. Calling it premium and PC-focused sets certain expectations, I think.
Okay, from serious strategy to fuzzy tournament of a million punches.
Yeah, from Sunstring Studios. This sounds like a mix of comedy storytelling and arcade fighting, but the tech part was interesting.
Oh, that.
Using Unreal Engine 5 for an insane digital puppeteering pipeline, visuals running completely in real time sounds like a very specific way to handle animation for a fighter. Could be neat.
And Square Enix had something totally different too. Killer N.
Right, this one sounds wild. A 24-player murder mystery action game. Social deduction, basically.
Like Among Us, but with action.
Kind of, yeah. You've got killers, the wolves trying to kill everyone and leave clues, and lambs trying to find clues and vote out the killers. Wolves win if they kill all lambs. Lambs win if they boot all wolves.
Okay, 24 players, though. That's a lot.
And it mixes in quests, buying items, looting, stealing, setting traps. It's a really ambitious blend of social deduction and active gameplay. Could be chaotic, could be brilliant.
Definitely sounds experimental.
Yeah.
And for something visually striking in a totally different way.
Out of words. Yeah, this was described as a unique stop-motion co-op platformer. And the key, everything is apparently crafted by hand.
Wow, like actual physical models.
Seems like it. That kind of dedication to a physical art style is just incredibly cool, instantly memorable.
Serenity Forge also dropped a horror teaser, right? With a very specific comparison.
They did. The description tease was Doki Doki Literature Club meets Silent Hill.
Okay, that combination alone is evocative and potentially terrifying. Horror fans probably turked up at that one.
Definitely paints a picture. And then, well, then there was the VR farming game.
Ah, yes. The Red Band trailer.
Pitched humorously, I think, as gaming's first quintuple egg tropical farming sim experience, featuring characters like Hip-Hop Satan.
Right. This goes to show the sheer range in this segment, from dark fantasy to, well, that.
Exactly. All right, so this part of the show also had some returning fan favorites, some neat indie titles, and interesting crossovers, too.
Like Sonic Racing Crossworld.
Yeah, from Sonic Team and the Sega Arcade Racing folks. They're promising a brand new experience. Other worlds, familiar faces, surprise guests, connected by a future travel ring.
Sounds like they're really mixing things up.
And a big tech feature, online cross-platform matchmaking. Plus, the trailer teased a Minecraft and Sonic crossover with the line, "You gotta go craft."
Huh. Okay, that's a fun way to hit at collaborations. Broadens the appeal, for sure. September release for that one.
And a game people have been waiting for finally got a date. Arc Raiders.
Oh yeah, Embark Studios. That was announced way back, wasn't it? TGA 2021.
Exactly. Felt like a long wait for fans. But now it has a date, October 30th, 2025. The new trailer apparently dove more into the world's mystery, Speranza.
Good for those who've been patient. And Dune Awakening is basically here already.
Pretty much. Survival MMO with a cinematic story. Set for PC release just days after the show, June 10th. And the source said you could already play via Steam Advanced Access then.
Getting games into players' hands early seems common now. Okay, for Metroidvania fans.
Mio Memories in Orbit. Described as a stunning new Metroidvania platformer. And the good news for you, the listener, is that a demo was available on Steam during Next Fest, so you could actually try that one out.
Nice. Always appreciate a demo. LEGO fans got LEGO Voyagers.
Yeah, aiming to capture that creative hands-on spirit of classic LEGO. And a cool feature that supports a friend's pass, kind of like Split Fiction, makes co-op easier.
Good for playing with buddies.
Yeah.
And then there was that Nickelodeon game, revealed by a familiar voice.
Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny.
Yeah. Revealed by Carolyn Lawrence. You know her voice from lots of Nickelodeon shows. Brings together a bunch of those characters. Seems like pure fan service in a good way.
Fun for that audience. CD Projekt Red showed off some tech for The Witcher 4.
More of a tech showcase than gameplay, yeah. Focused on a human creator tool integrated into Unreal Engine, running live, showcasing the character customization depth they're aiming for.
So more about the engine tech than the game itself at this point.
Seems like it. The source also mentioned something called Mongol separately around then, called a serious contender for Game of the Year. Epic Game Store exclusive, so two distinct things there.
Gotcha. And the Shovel Knight creators, Yacht Club Games, showed their next big thing.
Mina the Hollower. Yep, their next IP. Continuing that refined retro gameplay style, described as a bone-chilling adventure, mixing intense combat, exploration, platforming.
And the main character, Mina, she can burrow.
Yeah, a whip-wielding hollower who can burrow through danger. Sounds like a cool mechanic for platforming and finding secrets. Mixtape sounded interesting, too. From Beethoven Dinosaur and Annapurna.
Definitely aiming for a specific vibe with that one.
Yeah.
Inspired by classic coming-of-age movies, trying to capture, teen angst, friendship, nostalgia, love letter to teenage memories with a strong soundtrack. Very Annapurna.
Sounds like it could hit right emotionally. Bandai Namco had another partnership, too. With Brownies.
Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, a roguelike. Global announcement. The art style sounded really striking draws from classic Japanese art, whimsical take on Eastern mysticism, called A Beautiful Game.
The art can really sell a roguelike. And then there was that story about Acts of Blood, really highlights the indie scene.
Oh, absolutely. This one's from a first-time solo developer in Bang, Indonesia, made with help from just 9 friends. It's an intense, beat-em-up, brutal combat set in his actual hometown.
Wow. Just incredible that a solo dev can get their game shown on a stage like this.
Says a lot about the accessibility of tools and platforms now, maybe. Really inspiring.
And finally, the segment wrapped up with a teaser from Tribute Games, the TMNT Shredder's Revenge folks.
Yeah, based in Montreal. And connecting that to another game mentioned in the source, it looks like it's from Marvel Cosmic Invasion Universe.
Ah, okay. Another beat 'em up.
Seems like it. Retro style, coming this holiday season. Up to 4 players, choose from 15 Marvel characters they'd shown 7 before, and hinted at 2 more, building on what they do well.
All right. Let's take a breath here. That was LOT. Just from one, maybe 15, 20-minute segment of the show, over 24 games.
It's kind of overwhelming when you list them all out like that.
So what does this density, this sheer variety tell us? What's the takeaway?
Well, I think the variety itself is the main takeaway. You've got the massive AAA sequels we expect, like DS2, Atomic Heart 2. But then, like we said, franchises trying new things, got good Tigo and premium PC RTS, Sonic doing crossovers.
And alongside those, all these new IPs really leaning on a unique hook. The animation styles of Mouse PI, or Out of Words. The specific tech, like fuzzy tournaments puppeteering. The gameplay concepts like Killer N's 24-player social deduction or that VR farming sim.
It really shows innovation happening everywhere. From that solo dev in Indonesia making Acts of Blood to medium-sized studios finding a niche with art or gameplay, right up to the biggest publishers, it feels like a really diverse global scene.
Which brings up a pretty important question, I think. In such a crowded field, especially seeing them announced one after another like that, how do developers stand out? How do they grab your attention?
It seems like it comes down to having that unique angle we kept noticing. It's not enough to just be an action RPG anymore. Is it the art style? Is it a weird mechanic like burrowing or a rotating cube? Is it a famous voice actor? A very specific setting like 1900 Sicily. A novel multiplayer setup. You need something to cut through the noise.
So for you listening, why does wading through this whirlwind matter? Well, hopefully this deep dive acts as a filter, right?
Yeah.
A shortcut.
Exactly. Instead of you having to watch hours of streams or read endless articles, we've pulled out the key details on a whole bunch of upcoming games. Different genres, release windows, the creative ideas behind them.
Now, you can maybe pinpoint the ones that genuinely sound interesting to you, whether it's that huge sequel you're already hyped for, or maybe a smaller title, a potential hidden gem you just heard about. You can decide where to focus your attention.
It's about spotting those signals that resonate with your own tastes.
So yeah, we've gone from Kojima's big themes in DS2 all the way to a solo dev's passion project, Beat 'em Up. From high-end tech demos like The Witcher 4's character creator to painstakingly handcrafted stop-motion and Out of Words, or that beautiful art in Toa.
It's clear there's still a ton of creativity and technical ambition across the board, and unique ideas can still get a spotlight, which is encouraging.
Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe. Considering this sheer volume, and especially some of those really novel concepts like Killer N's social deduction or Out of Words visuals, how much does that pure novelty matter compared to just polishing a proven formula. And in this flood of information, what actually works to grab and hold your attention as a player, something to chew on as you look forward to these games actually coming out?